Today, we are going to talk about when someone sets a boundary with you, why it feels personal, even when it's not. Hey, gorgeous. Welcome to Unapologetically 50 Plus. My name is Angela, and today is the final episode in our Boundaries and Becoming series. This journey has been full of reflection, truth-telling, and learning how to protect our peace without losing our softness. Today, we're going to flip the script a little bit. We've talked a lot about setting our own boundaries, how trauma can affect those boundaries, and how we can sometimes either be too rigid or too inconsistent. But what happens when the boundary isn't yours? What happens when someone sets a boundary with you? Let's go ahead and tell the truth. It can feel hurtful. It can feel rough. Even if it's done kindly or even if it's something that was needed, someone saying, I need space or I don't have the capacity for that right now can feel like a rejection. You might be like, wait, what did I do wrong? And that's where we're going to go today. Because if you've ever felt triggered, if you've ever felt a little abandoned, or maybe you felt a little offended when someone drew a line with you, you're not alone. And this part, it's a part of the growth. So let's break it down. Why do we sometimes take other people's boundaries so personally? Well, for a lot of us, especially those of us who've had to overfunction or maybe perform to feel loved, someone else's no can feel like a door slamming shut. But here's the truth. Someone setting a boundary is not about punishing you. It's about protecting themselves. That's it. But when we haven't healed certain parts of ourselves, we don't hear it that way. Instead, what we might hear is, you don't love me, you don't want me around, I must have done something wrong. That's not the boundary talking, that's the bruise. That's your old story getting activated. And maybe someone in your past used silence as a punishment. Maybe you were made to feel like you were too much when you had needs. Maybe you felt abandoned when people didn't know how to handle their own stuff. So now when someone says, I need space, or this is my limit, your nervous system goes, it's happening again. But what's really happening, someone is practicing self-awareness. Someone is choosing clarity. And most importantly, someone is trusting that your relationship can handle a little honesty. And that's not rejection. That's actually a form of respect. So let me tell you a story. A few years ago, a friend of mine, someone I deeply love, told me she needed to scale back our phone time. Not because of anything I did, but because she was in a heavy season, meaning she had a new job, caretaking for a family member, and dealing with her own health. She said it with love. She was clear, respectful, and she was very reassuring. But my heart was like, oh, so you're pulling away from me. And I had to catch myself because in that moment, I realized I was making her boundary about my worth. And listen, when we do that, we stop listening. We stop showing up as grown women and start showing up as our younger, wounded self. And that's okay, but we can't stay there. Because honoring someone else's boundary is a form of emotional maturity. It says, I may not love how this feels, but I respect you enough not to make this about me. So how do we respond when someone sets a boundary with us? Let me offer you a few mindset shifts. 1, pause before reacting. Give yourself space to feel and process. Ask, is this about what they're saying or what this is bringing up in me? 2, don't confuse someone's capacity with your value. Their need to protect their energy doesn't mean you're not worthy. It means they're managing what they can hold. And 3, you can still love someone inside the boundary, Just because the shape of the relationship is shifting doesn't mean the connection is broken. It just means it's evolving. And one more thing, because this part does matter. Not all boundaries are healthy. Sometimes people use the language of boundaries to shut down, ghost someone, avoid responsibility, or maybe punish. So, how do you know the difference? Healthy boundaries sound like, I care about you and I need to take a step back for now. I want to stay connected, but I need to shift how we communicate. Unhealthy boundaries, on the other hand, sound like silence, coldness, or maybe ultimatums dressed up in a therapy language. If someone sets a boundary and is still open to loving you inside of that structure, that's health. If they weaponize it to push you away or punish you, that's something different. And your job isn't to chase. Your job is to check in with yourself and ask, can I respect this and still respect myself? So as we wrap this up, I want to invite you to reflect. How do you respond when someone sets a boundary with you? Do you shrink? Do you lash out? Do you over-apologize? Or do you breathe, listen, and honor the fact that someone trusted you enough to be honest? It's not always easy, but it's a part of becoming. Becoming more grounded, more secure, more able to love without losing yourself. If you've been moved by this series and you want more tools, more clarity, more practice for living with alignment and grace in your next chapter, please head over to my Stand store and check out my Rediscovering Purpose and Passion guide. And I have other resources that I've created with you in mind. Thank you so much for being here and with me through my Boundaries and Becoming series. I also will be sharing more content soon to support us in navigating the season of life with even more grace, clarity, and alignment. And not because we're starting from scratch, but because we're always evolving. And we deserve spaces that honor who we're becoming. So until next time, please hold your truth, honor others, and stay unapologetically you. Talk to you soon.